Swadika. Hey guys, so today is June 13th, Friday. Getting ready for the weekend. Woo! Anyway, so for class today, we actually took a field trip to go talk to some monks, and it was really interesting. Honestly, we walked in and we were in like an auditorium, and there was like chairs, and we sat down, and the monks went up to the front, and they introduced themselves, like their name and where they're from, because most of them weren't from Chiang Mai. They were from like Bangkok area, or like even outside of Thailand, like I think one of them Sri Lanka. It was kind of cute because they were really nervous, and they were just kind of like hitting each other, because these are novice monks, so they're under 20. No, well, some of them were novice and some of them were ordained. And the difference is, like, ordained monks have to be 20 years or older, and they have to go through like this process. But novice monks don't have to be 20. They just have to like follow 10 precepts, which are like 10 like rules that they have, and like other stuff. So like there's stuff I'm not explaining, but anyway, so they're novice monks and regular monks, so they're probably like our age. I don't know, like I would say 18 through 25, and they're like nudging each other and, you know, kind of like, I don't know, making fun of themselves. But so after they introduced themselves, they split up, and so did we. And so I was with Jessica, Trexie, and Chrissy, and we were talking to these two monks. And it was really interesting because like the whole time we were just supposed to be talking about Buddhism and getting to know the other monks. And the monk that we were talking to had a cell phone, which is quite unique because monks aren't supposed to like partake in things like that produce desire. So like any like getting any material things like phones or cars like aren't really allowed. But recently they're letting monks keep their cell phones, which is pretty interesting. But this guy's really cool. I don't know. The guy that we had was from Sri Lanka, and he was 19, so not an ordained monk yet. And he had a Facebook, and he ended up adding all of us on Facebook, which I was like, what? I got added on Facebook by a monk, guys, you know? Anyway, so, and we were talking, and it was really cool because we were just getting to know each other. We got to know their favorite ice cream. Well, I mean, kind of, because they're not supposed to really have ice cream, but when they're home, we can know what ice cream they like. And I had asked the question about meditation, because in Christianity, we pray. And you can also like meditate too, like thinking about scriptures and stuff. But I didn't really know what it was like in Buddhism. And so I asked the monk that we had, I was like, so what do you guys do when you meditate? And he's like, well, you don't do anything. And I was like, okay, like you just don't think anything or what? And he's like, yeah, you just try and find your center. And he's like, it's just like the whole, for meditating for them is just not thinking about anything. What they do is like they try and focus on their self. So they try and like feel them like breathing in and out, you know, like the rise and fall. And it kind of made me think of yoga. I was like, man, like at the end of yoga, this is kind of like relaxation. You're just breathing in and out, you know, whatever. And that got me on to the next topic, which I was wondering about how they had been taught about creation, or like the beginning of time, and then how like they knew that how like the first Buddha ever became Buddha, because like what it is in Buddhism, to become a Buddha, you have a Buddha beforehand tell you that you're going to be Buddha. And that's like their job. But then the first Buddha wouldn't have a Buddha because he's the first Buddha. And I asked him these things, and he's like, well, we don't really know much about the first three Buddhas. We just know the last two Buddhas. And I was like, well, does anyone know about the other Buddhas? And he's like, oh, well, the higher monks know all of the Buddhas, but that's more I guess like theological. I don't know if that's the right term. But it was more like in depth, more research. And so I was like, oh, that's like really interesting. Because for me, like, I think I would want to know the people who first started Buddhism, because if they're not like reliable, then how are the Buddhas now reliable? I don't know, that's what I was thinking. Anyway, and then going on to the creation question, he said that they were taught to not think about it. Because he said if you think too deeply about things, you don't find your center, you don't become happy, you don't become enlightened. And that struck me as kind of odd, because I was like, is it wisdom or ignorance that you're just not thinking about things? Because if you're in a religion, like, don't you want to know if it's true? And if you don't think about things, how do you know that it's not true or true? Which is very, very interesting. Like, I was surprised that the monks were telling us that they just don't think about it. Whenever they are going through something that they don't know, they just don't think about it. Or something that's like, going to be really hard to understand, they don't think about it. And that's how they become enlightened. So yeah, sorry. Anyway, I just thought that was pretty interesting. But okay, so I'm going to end with a verse, couple verses, not just one verse, I think. There it is. Sorry. I'm trying to look at it. Okay, and then it's 2 Chronicles 15:7. It says, "But you take courage, do not let your hands be weak, for your work shall be rewarded." And then on Proverbs 4:26, this is like, I was reading it, and then I was like, this is totally relevant to what I was talking to the monk today about. It says, "Ponder the path of your feet, then all your ways will be sure." So, yeah. Alright, well, I will see you guys soon. The time here is going by too fast, so I'm sorry if I'm really late in telling you what I'm doing. But, yeah. Anyway, have a good day. See ya.